Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, July 22nd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I'll do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, if you would like for me to do an analysis on one of your positions, just comment down below and I'll do my best to get to that in a future video. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, which you can see right there. That is what the 30 is representing, which just means that each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. And then finally, this candlestick right there will still be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. So stock number one, ticker symbol SERV, which you can see right up there, and a very, very eventful day on this one. Good solid pattern has now formed. So let's get this drawn into play here. So top part of the pattern going to be this area of resistance right there. Let me change that to red for resistance. And then the bottom part of the pattern in terms of support is right there. So change that to green for support. And then maybe to make it easier to see, let's keep it one single color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the huge explosion right there. And then for you golfers, try to make it a little bit more visually appealing, but the golf hole down here, this would be a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible, is it valid to think that the price comes up here and breaks up through that level, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly plausible. Even if you want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, totally fine. At the end of the day, that is a more than rational way to view this chart moving forward. So if you like stocks down below $10, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one, SXTP, and there is no doubt about it, this is a very ugly looking chart, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, but I mean, just to set up a little bit of context here, to think that at one point the price was all the way up there and even sadder, to think that true story, there were some people buying up there. Hopefully those people are using a stop loss. But yeah, then after that, things have just pulled back and gotten more and more ugly. With all that being said, what's very interesting here is that the price is now approaching a gap close location, which can tend to act as support. And on top of that, down around that same area, you have a clump of these moving averages. So notice that the gap close location is right between that purple line and pink line. And all that to say is that, I wish I could say trading was this easy, that because these dynamics are happening, the price is going to come down here and for sure bounce. There are no for sures. But again, is it plausible? Is it rational to think that this thing could pull down and then finally find some buyers right around this congestion point of support? Totally a plausible scenario. So if you like penny stocks and you like to play these scenarios where things are looking really, really ugly, but those are sometimes the best locations to buy, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, SQQQ. Been doing this one on a very routine basis. And the first update here is just a bit of an adjustment. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area of resistance now that we have more data. Right up to that point there at $8.55. So $8.55 will be the main area of resistance. And one thing there, whenever levels of resistance need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, if you are bullish, then that is definitely a good thing for the bull. So yes, that level needs to be adjusted. And just like that, there's a higher high that's been put into place, which is what trend building is all about. Yes, you want those higher highs, but you also want those lower lows. And that's what's been accomplished here. You can see a set of lows right there. Then this low right there, that low right here. And then, really as low as it got today right there. And if you envision each one of those as stair-steps, well then big picture-wise, stair-steps still very clearly progressing in the upwards direction, and that's what it's all about. So overall, this thing has had a very good week. And as long as this thing keeps on putting those higher lows to even get a little bit more context right there, that's what it's all about. So a little bit of pullback here this afternoon. Not much of one, but even as I speak right now, and again, that's why I like to do these when the markets are open. But you can see final 30 minutes right now, this green candle here. Nice, strong green candle. So we'll see if this momentum carries into Monday. Next one, PSNL. Very nice mover today. And once again, good solid pattern here has been put into place. So let's get this mapped out. So put our area of resistance right here at, in my mind, I think 415 is more so the truer level of resistance. And then when it comes to areas of support, we have this little area right there. And then to make the pattern, once again, easier to see, let's just keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, We have the big move up right there, have the golf hole down here, so we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So a couple different bull pennants for you to keep an eye on if you like this pattern. But overall, good movement, good volume, and this one has shown the ability to move and move very quickly. So if this thing can get another breakout to the upside next week, then yeah, who knows what might have what the bulls may have in store. Next one, NVDA, and not a whole lot of new things to talk about, but I do want to get things updated as it's been a while, and that now that we have more data, and that is just in regards to this very clear sideways channel that has formed. And the top of the sideways channel, give or take a little bit, right up there at the 122 mark. I say give or take a little bit because, yeah, right there went slightly above it. Right there didn't quite hit it. A couple times here didn't quite hit it. Right there hit it basically directly. So, now if you want to call it 121.85, fine. But just for argument's sake, 122, I would say is a very clear top part of the sideways movement. Just the same as down here around 116, let's just call it 70, is a very clear area of support, as you can see right there. Price bounce from it, price bounce from it. Never quite hit it today, but nonetheless, that's really where NVIDIA stands. It's just simply a sideways channel pattern right now on the 30-minute time frame, and the question mark going into next week is, who is ultimately going to win out? Are the bulls going to win with a break to the upside? Are the bears going to win with a break to the downside? That is the question on everybody's mind. But just from a technical and pattern perspective, easiest way to summarize that is just sideways channel pattern. Real quick, want to take a quick break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. Next, ticker symbol TSLA, Tesla. And another rough day on this one, as not necessarily because it was red, but because it broke down through this very important level right there at 245.60, which I'd been talking about quite a bit. And that's also where the first update comes into play. And that update's just based on a rule that states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. But even more so in the near term, again, based on the same rule of supports being broken and then acting as resistance, check out the pink line right there, the 200 period moving average. Price broke down below it, and then look at this. Not once, but twice, price tried to get up through that area and couldn't quite do it. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not saying that the price can never, ever get back up above that pink line. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price is struggling right there at that location. But even if it does, you don't want to get too overly excited, because then you have to deal with that next area of resistance up there right around 245.80. As far as areas of support are concerned, two main levels stand out. First key level is going to be just simply where did the bleeding finally stop today, and that bleeding finally did stop right there at 236.80. If 236.80 cannot hold, the next key level after that would be these lows from several days ago down around the 233 mark. So overall, though, rough way to end the week, and now have a bear flag forming here, but we'll see if the bulls can try to regain some sort of control early next week. Next one, MARA, and I will say that this is a little tricky to talk about because it all depends on perspective. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, or you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad. But I'm going to take more so an overarching standpoint and look at multiple days here and show you that overall, it's actually a bullish pattern here headed into the weekend. So let me get this pattern drawn into play. Granted, you've already seen this pattern, but this is at a much bigger scale. So we have our area of resistance here. And then we have our area of support down there. And then just to make it easier to see, maybe you have already kind of connected these dots, but whoops, did not mean to. There we go. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the big move up right here. So in all actuality, once more to reiterate, because I realize that if you're some sort of very short-term trader, you don't care about any of this. But if you do care about the big picture point of view, to reiterate, you're now looking at a big old, let me get the golf hole down here, bull pennant pattern. So I know the other bull pennants were on more so lower price stocks, but if you like a little bit higher price things such as this, and you do like those bull pennants, then certainly keep an eye on MARA. Next one, NIO, and a rough day on this one. Back thinking about Tesla and how Tesla broke down through some of these key levels, and same here with NIO. The keyest level here is that pink line, which you now know is the 200 period moving average, but you can see right there, broke down through it, and then that really opened up the floodgates. So that'll definitely be one of the newest areas of resistances moving forward, currently valued at 457. But really in the very near term, the level that has arisen as an area of resistance is right there at $4.50, because right now the price is in this little sideways channel pattern. The top of the channel is right there at $4.50. So yes, 200 period moving average is an area of resistance, but you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. Got to first cross that initial bridge, right there at 450. In terms of areas of support, nothing fancy here logic-wise other than answering the question, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And that was right down there at about $4.41. So pretty straightforward there. And then from a pattern standpoint, I'll draw it in very quickly. Essentially have a bear pennant pattern here, which is just, so if I put the golf hole up here, it's just an upside down pennant pattern. Now, just because it's a bearish pattern doesn't mean it's for sure going to go downwards, but I don't think anybody would be shocked if this thing made another leg downwards early next week. Next one, PLUG, absolutely beat down today with a gap down. With that being said, this creates a very interesting scenario because I'm not going to call PLUG a super popular stock, but it's had its times, and there's still a lot of people that watch it. And when you have stocks like that get beat down in a hurry, and then on top of that begin to go sideways, it creates a very, very interesting situation, because sideways action at least brings about the suggestion that maybe, just maybe, the selling pressure is done. Case in point, if the price was here, it's just dropping, I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this thing could be a bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, well, I mean, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally just going straight down. But that's not the case here, right? The price has at least started to go sideways. So sideways does not guarantee it's going upwards, but it just goes back to that whole talking point of it. It's at least plausible to think that way. So if there is going to be any sort of bounce in the upwards direction, key area of resistance to watch going to be right there at $2.60. And then just from a support standpoint, or if you like to play those bounces, then price as of now seems to have quite a few buyers down there around $2.40. So logical to think that if the price comes down here, it could very well try to get another bounce in the upwards direction. But yeah, at the core, relatively popular stock, absolutely beat down. It is going sideways. So is this some sort of bottom, and is there going to be some sort of bounce next week? We'll see what happens. Next one, TQQQ, and the downtrend continues. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this line out as it served its purpose for now, and then do the newest update. And that update, as I've said already, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance, and that is what has already played out here. You can see that on this bounce right here. Surprise, surprise, that's right, where it got rejected. So moving into next week, 7170 is going to be that key battleground. And then just from an overarching standpoint, you'll want to watch that purple line right there, 50 period moving average. As time goes by, keyword being moving, that line will move itself lower and lower and get more and more relevant. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as the price is down below that purple line, then the trend remains fully in the bear's favor. In terms of areas of support and next potential areas where this thing could be headed, let's get that mapped out here with the next interesting level being right there at $70.60, which is basically where the price bounced today. That does make sense when you look back through the history of things. You can see that was a low from way back here several weeks ago. If that level doesn't hold up, though, next key area of support would then be that gap close location, which puts the price right down around $69.35. But yeah, overall, pretty rough week for this one. Now, I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then get signed up for the free class next week. It'll be Thursday, July 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is a genuine live event, so bring your questions because there will be a question and answer session. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. So go get signed up, and I'll see you next week. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now using the 4-hour time frame. So instead of each one of these candlesticks representing 30 minutes, each one represents 4 hours. Now, this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous video, but if you did, you know that I talked about this bull pattern here, and check out the breakout that has occurred on great volume as I speak, essentially at highs. So fantastic way to end the week here, although there really is no end because Bitcoin is open 24/7, and that's why I like to use the 4-hour time frame because it allows this analysis to stay relevant for as long as possible. But point here being is that really going into the weekend, it's just a question of how much bigger does this get? So it's a very simple premise. So let's just assume you're watching this video Sunday afternoon, for example. The question you need to ask yourself is, where is the price at relative, to 66,000? As long as you're answering the question that the price is above 66,000, then I would say this breakout is still fully healthy, because even if the price is down around here or bouncing around, I mean, all that's telling you is that, okay, well, you have another new bull pennant pattern that has formed, which is perfectly fine, perfectly healthy. Now, obviously, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, it's Sunday afternoon, the price is up at 72,000, well, all that's telling you is that this breakout that we're witnessing right now has broken out that much more and picked up that much more momentum. Now, even if you're saying, well, Clay, the price is actually down below 66,000, as long as the price is up above that purple line right there, which again will move higher and higher, then everything is still perfectly fine. The only thing that I would say would make me go, uh-oh, is if somehow you're saying that the price is down below that purple line. I doubt that's the case, but it is Bitcoin, so you never know. But as of now, beautiful breakout. Congratulations to anybody bought that breakout. Now head into the weekend. It's just a question of how much bigger is this breakout going to get. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to go get signed up for this free class, because what you're going to learn about can and definitely should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin. So go get signed up. It'll be next week, Thursday, July 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Like I said, it is truly live, so bring your questions and I'd be happy to answer them in the live Q&A. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do a couple things for me, please. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Like I said, if you have a request for one, put that down in the comment section. But thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and go get signed up for the free live webinar.